right, y'all, we're gonna be making hamburger buns for supper, and I'm starting them out in my bread machine. I do it on the dough cycle. And first we're gonna do, I've got 1 cup of lukewarm water and milk mixed together. I got a 1/2 cup of water, a 1/2 cup of milk. Now I'm gonna add 3 teaspoons of active dry yeast. I'm gonna add it to my milk. 1, 2, 3. All right, I'm gonna let that rest for about 5 minutes and let it bloom. All right. So 1/3 cup of avocado oil. I'm using this. You can use butter, a 1/3 cup of melted butter. You can use olive oil. Okay, now I'm gonna add my milk and yeast mixture. Okay, now I'm gonna start adding my dry ingredients. I'm gonna add 3½ cups of bread flour. So there's 1, 2, 3 1/2. Now I have found that a wetter dough works better than a stiffer dry dough. That's just my opinion. And I'm adding, that was a 1/3 cup of sugar. I like mine a little more on the sweeter side, but you can use a 1/4 cup of sugar if you don't want to use that much sugar. All right, and then I'm going to add a teaspoon of salt. Y'all, I'm not even gonna lie, I messed up. Yeast, I added tablespoons instead of teaspoons. But we'll see how it works out. Because here lately it's got to where when I use this, it's not been rising as much anyway. So we'll just see. We'll see what it does. It may roll out of the bread machine, but we'll deal with it then. So my bread machine, I don't know, let me get it to where you can see. You may can see, I don't know. Okay, so this is the bread machine that I use. It's called a West Bend automatic bread and dough maker. And so instead of doing it on like the bread cycle, we're gonna go down here and hit the dough cycle and then just hit start, because we're not making a loaf of bread. We're just doing the dough cycle. And it takes 1 hour and 20 minutes to run through the dough cycle. Once it runs through the dough cycle, I'll take it out and roll it out onto my floured surface and separate it into hamburger size buns. And then we'll let it rise for about another hour. So far this is how much it's risen, and it's still rising. So we'll see what it does. It's coming out. I'm gonna close, it'll go back down. So here's our dough out of our bread bucket. We're gonna just slap it right down there, and I'm gonna get all what's left in here. It's usually a pretty clean pan. Now I'm gonna try to make hoagie buns out of this. Never made hoagie buns, but we're gonna try them. Okay, we're making Philly cheesesteaks to go on our hoagie buns for supper. This is just ground beef that I have cooked in the crock pot today. I added a little bit of flour to thicken this up, and I'm gonna add some of this beef base. It'll give it a beefy flavor. I'm just gonna add probably about, that's probably a tablespoon. And it'll melt down when it gets to cooking. I'm gonna add a couple of tablespoons of Worcestershire to give it some flavor. Salt. You just salt your stuff to taste. That's how I do. Some pepper. And you can see that the beef base is melting. Y'all, these look perfect. They did turn out a little bigger than I was thinking. They should have all been this size, but they all turn out this big. But next time when I make them, I'll know to size down on my rolls when I roll it out. I am going to go through and add a little bit of butter to the tops. I'm trying to do this with my left hand. I'm right-handed. I'm trying to rub it with, I poked a hole in that one. We'll give them a little shine. Shine them up a little bit. Y'all, these smell great. Oh, Lord, they smell so good. Okay, we're fixing to saute our vegetables. I'm just using some of this avocado oil because it's sitting right here on the counter. I use butter sometimes. Sometimes I use olive oil, whatever is handy, I'll use. But I'm going to cook these on low. We're just going to cook these down to add to the top of our Philly steak. Really, they're called Philly steak sloppy joes. Is what they said online. I had saw somebody making some. I thought those look good, so I'm using what I've got is ground deer. Is what I'm using. It's not beef. It is ground deer. We're gonna let that cook. I'm just sitting here on the porch. It's dark outside. It's quiet. I can hear the crickets or whatever that is chirping. It has been in the 70s today. We've had perfect temperatures. It's felt good. We've been able to get outside. Brody's played outside. So while my stuff is finishing cooking, I'm just sitting here on the porch, enjoying the peace and the quiet. Now I'm curious to see how easy these are going to be to cut open. I want to thank you guys for watching this video. Don't forget, if you like this video, please hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't subscribed to our channel, and we will see you guys in the next video. Y'all have a great night.